from Jahannam. Every day at the time of breaking your fast, you'll have a da'wah mustajaba, a da'wah that will be answered. Has your dua been answered in Ramadan? And is your dua in this Ramadan will be answered? Every day there is maghfirah. People will be forgiven. Are we among the people who will be forgiven during this month? Or not? The Allama of Tazkiyah, they said there is a pathway. There is a pathway between the deed and the heart. Al-amal wal-qalb. And then there is a pathway between al-qalb, يعني طريق بين العمل والقلب. إلى القلب ثم طريق من القلب إلى الله, and there is also a path from the heart to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I don't mean by pathway a distance, a physical distance, because Allah Jalla Jalaluhu is the creator of distance and pathways and places and spaces subhanahu wa ta'ala. But we mean a metaphorical pathway. To go to Allah means to attain the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But the ulama say, wait a minute, there's along this path, along this road from the deed to the heart, for the deed to go to the heart, there are robbers, highway robbers, Khutbah turuq. In the old days, if you used to travel from one city to the other, there will always be people on the way to rob you. Highway robbers. They rob the convoys, they rob the caravans, they rob the people that travel, right? That's their job. But there are also robbers, highway robbers, between the deed to the heart, who intercept the deeds from going to the heart, and there are highway robbers who intercept the heart from going to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What does that mean? You see many people doing lots of deeds, but the deed is not in their heart. As-salah is there, lots of salah, but the salah has not changed them. As-salah has not prevented them from ordering the evil and doing and forbidding the good. The salah has not prevented them from saying bad things. As-salah has not prevented them from changing their character. As-salah has not prevented them from being sincere. As-salah has not prevented them from being cheap, or as-salah has not prevented them from lying, from cheating, from stealing. As-salah has not done anything to them except the deed. There has been an interception between the deed to the heart. Therefore, the deed is not the heart, and not in the heart. Sayyidina Ibn Ata'illah, I will take you back to again Ibn Ata'illah Secondary rahimahullah, where he says, Al-amalu siwar. Al-amal is a frame, وروحها الأعمال صور وروحها وجود سر الإخلاص فيها. And the ruh of the deed is the ikhlas, the sincerity to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why sometimes the interceptors are even back. The heart, the deed gets to the heart, but it's intercepted. It doesn't attain the pleasure of Allah. Why? Because sometimes the ego takes charge of the good deed. النفس إن النفس لأمارة بالسوء والقلب is supposed to be مطمئن بالله. Sometimes the self or the nafs takes charge of the good deed, controls the good deed. How is that? Very simple. Very simple. You are fasting and someone says bad things to you, or someone curses you, or someone without anything, you're not being irresponsible, you're not being anything, and you start and telling him, you scream at him and tell him, Inni sa'im, I am fasting. What have you just done? Fasting is a good amal salih, is a good deed. But telling him Inni sa'im, now you have, instead of getting the reward for your siyam from Allah, you're telling the slave that you are sa'im. You have exchanged the reward for this word. You have exchanged the reward of your siyam for the word to this man. Because Inni sa'im is supposed to be to yourself, so you can control yourself. But now the self even controlled your siyam, so the self made yourself tell the other guy, look, I am fasting. But you're fasting to him, or you're fasting to Allah Rabbul Alameen? Your fasting is supposed to improve you, or is supposed to tell him to restrain himself? Someone memorizes the Quran, good deed, amal salih, memorizing the Quran, amal salih, and then you come and say, Ya Ahmad, how can you call me Ahmad? I am Hafid, call me Shaykh. Call me Hafid, call me, gets upset. all of a sudden? How come? Exchanging the amal salih for the dunya that he wants to be recognized for. He wants to be recognized with a title. If you don't recognize me with a title, then I don't like you, then you're disrespecting me. While you did this Quran, and you did the fiqh, and you did the ilm, and you did the salah, and you did the siyam, and you did the zakah, for who? For Allahu Rabbul Alameen. That's where the ikhlas comes, dear brothers and sisters. And that's the ruh of the deed. And that's the interceptor. That's why you see no effects with the people. That's why we have problems. Ramadan takes us to a higher step. So you can taksir al-nafs, so you can control the nafs, subjugate the nafs. So you don't eat a lot, because it's not supposed to be the point. Because we don't live to eat. And we don't eat to live. Some people live to eat, and some people eat to live. But the human being, the spiritual human being, the Muslim spiritual human being, eats so you can be strengthened to be elevated spiritually. So you can be strengthened to be closer to those who you love. The Allama of Tazkiyah wa Tasawwuf, they say this, they say, there's a rule that they used to say, they don't ask you how you're doing when they meet you. They say, how is your heart with Allah? كيف حال قلبك مع الله? Something we all should learn, maybe practice, it's okay. Even if it's not found in us today, maybe tomorrow Allah will make it in our hearts. Maybe the day after, maybe next week. But ask ourselves, and ask our fellow people, when you meet them, how is your heart with Allah? How is your heart with Allah? Is your heart comfortable with Allah? Are you peaceful? Or is your heart still worried? Or is your heart lost because you don't know where you are? Where is your heart with Allah? كيف حال قلبك مع الله? Where is your heart with Allah? Because that's the whole point. The point is not abstaining from food and drinks. The point is educating your heart so you can be close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you can be close to His Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. So you can be closer to the Sunnah. Because the Sunnah is not uttering words that are meaningless if you don't understand them. The Sunnah